What if I told you that the 2026 World Cup is not the same tournament we watched in 2022? Most fans think it's just another World Cup with a few extra teams, but that's completely wrong. FIFA has changed so much that the tournament you knew for decades is officially gone. More teams, more matches, a brand new knockout round, new qualification rules, and a format that could completely change who becomes world champion. In fact, some teams that would have been eliminated in 2022 can now survive and make deep runs in 2026. So the real question is this: has FIFA improved the World Cup? Or have they broken it? To understand that, we need to compare every major change between the 2022 and 2026 World Cups. Let's start with the biggest one. In 2022, the World Cup featured 32 teams, the same format used since 1998. Fans were familiar with it, players understood it, and the competition structure was simple. 8 groups, 4 teams in each group, and the top 2 advanced to the round of 16. But in 2026, FIFA expanded the tournament to 48 teams. That's not a small adjustment. That's a massive increase of 50%. Suddenly, countries that rarely had a chance to qualify now have a realistic path to the World Cup. More nations means more stories, more fans, and more opportunities for football to grow around the world. But it also creates a new challenge. With more teams entering the tournament, FIFA had to completely redesign the competition. That's where the second major change comes in. Instead of 8 groups, the 2026 World Cup now has 12 groups. Each group still contains 4 teams, but the qualification system is very different. In 2022, finishing third in your group usually meant your World Cup journey was over. In 2026, that's no longer true. The top 2 teams from each group automatically qualify, and the 8 best third-place teams also advance. Think about how much that changes strategy. Teams no longer need to panic after one bad result. Even if they finish third, they still have a chance to survive. This means more teams remain alive until the final group stage match, creating more drama and suspense throughout the tournament. Then comes perhaps the most significant structural change of all. In 2022, after the group stage ended, the knockout rounds began with the round of 16. In 2026, FIFA introduced an entirely new stage, the round of 32. That means more knockout football, more winner-takes-all matches, and more opportunities for giant-killing upsets. Historically, some of the greatest World Cup moments have happened in knockout rounds. By adding an extra round, FIFA is increasing the number of high-pressure games where anything can happen. However, this also makes the road to the trophy much harder. In 2022, a team needed 7 matches to become world champion. In 2026, the champion must survive 8 matches. One additional match may not sound like much, but at the elite level, it can make a huge difference. Fatigue increases. Injuries become more likely. Squad depth becomes more important. A team with a great starting 11 may struggle compared to a team with a deeper bench. Another major difference is the total number of matches. The 2022 World Cup consisted of 64 games. The 2026 edition has exploded to 104 matches. That's 40 extra games. For fans, that's fantastic news because there is more football to watch than ever before. For players and coaches, it creates new challenges involving recovery, travel, and squad rotation. Speaking of travel, the hosting format has also changed dramatically. Qatar 2022 was hosted by a single country. Stadiums were relatively close together, and fans could attend multiple matches with minimal travel. In contrast, the 2026 World Cup is hosted by 3 countries: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. This is the first time in history that 3 nations have hosted a World Cup together. The scale is enormous. Teams may travel thousands of miles between matches, creating logistical challenges that simply did not exist in Qatar. Climate conditions, travel schedules, and recovery times could become important factors affecting performance. Technology is another area where the tournament continues to evolve. Qatar 2022 introduced semi-automated offside technology, helping officials make faster and more accurate decisions. In 2026, FIFA has further improved its use of advanced tracking systems and officiating tools. The goal is simple: reduce controversial decisions and improve fairness. Whether fans agree with every decision is another question, but technology now plays a larger role than ever before. Financially, the difference is also enormous. More teams and more matches mean larger audiences, more sponsorship deals, more broadcasting revenue, and more ticket sales. The 2026 World Cup is expected to become the biggest and most commercially successful tournament in FIFA history. But perhaps the most interesting change is something statistics can't fully measure: unpredictability. When you increase the number of teams and expand qualification opportunities, surprises become more likely. Smaller nations gain valuable experience. Underdogs receive more chances to compete. Traditional football powers face more potential traps. In previous tournaments, many fans could predict the knockout stage before the group stage even began. In 2026, that becomes much harder. More teams mean more unknowns, and more unknowns mean more chaos. Finally, there is the question that divides football fans around the world. Is bigger actually better? Supporters of the new format argue that football should be more inclusive and global. They believe more countries deserve the chance to compete on the biggest stage. Critics argue that expansion could reduce quality and make qualification less special. Both sides have valid arguments. But regardless of where you stand, one thing is impossible to deny. The 2026 World Cup represents the biggest transformation in modern World Cup history. It is not simply the next edition of the tournament. It is the beginning of a completely new era. And when future generations look back at World Cup history, they may see 2022 as the end of the old World Cup and 2026 as the moment everything changed forever.